Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Ron Wilson from the radio program In the Garden, and this is the moment we've all been waiting for to find out which of you has the greenest thumbs in Central Ohio through the 2020 Backyard Garden Awards. Now, this is the 4th annual Backyard Garden Awards, and I'll tell you what, I just love this program. You know, now it gives us a chance to go and see what you've been doing in your backyard, side yard, patio, wherever it may be. And I've got a feeling this year the awards are going to be outstanding. The picture's outstanding because a lot of folks staying at home because of the virus. Seeing a lot of great landscapes this year, so I can't wait to go through and see all these winners. And you know, I miss attending the Fall Home and Garden Show in person, but I'll tell you what, this online version is just terrific. Even for an old goat like me who doesn't even have a camera on his computer. Of course, there's something to be said about face for radio, you know what I mean? So anyway, I really encourage everyone watching this awards ceremony to look around the rest of the show, to click around and talk with the companies that are here. Now, when you click on a booth in the exhibit hall, you'll see a chat button. Well, click on it, and you'll be talking to the representatives in that booth. And you can convert your chat into a voice call, just like a telephone call, or a video chat where you can see the person you're talking to and even show them elements of your project if you have a camera on your computer or mobile. Heck, you might even just qualify for one of the 1,000 gift certificates to the North Market. Just chat with any vendor to find out more. Every vendor has a dozen or so that they will award at the end of the show today. The live chat is available until 8 o'clock today. Now, the Dispatch was considering hosting the Fall and Garden Show in person, but decided to try this approach so everyone could be safe and participate from home. I've looked around the show, and given what's going on out there with the COVID-19, this is a very cool way for you to find pros and experts for your home improvement projects. Now, of course, we want to give a special thank you to our partners for bringing this program to life. Oakland Nurseries, the Columbus Dispatch, and the Ohio State University Master Gardeners Program. And most of all, thank you to those of you who have participated in this year's program. Now, for most of us who enjoy gardening, the only people who see our backyard gardens is our family and our neighbors. And that's kind of a shame because, you know, what you're about to see, well, there's so many spectacular gardens and amazing gardeners here in Central Ohio. It's phenomenal. Now, for me, one of the bright spots of this program is sharing your gardening know-how with everyone else across the town as displayed through the spectacular pictures of your gardens, and especially people who love gardening as much as you do. Now, let me bring in Mark Reiner from Oakland Nurseries, who is a huge supporter of this program. You know, Mark, you and Oakland Nurseries have been supporters of this program from the start. Give me an idea. Tell us a little bit about why Oakland Nurseries has been such a fan of this program.
Thanks, Ron. Oakland Nursery is thrilled to be the presenting sponsor of the Backyard Garden Awards and would like to thank everyone who took the time to send in an entry and be part of the awards this year. 2020, woo, what a year. We started in spring at Oakland with the uncertainty of whether we would even be allowed to be open and have a season, and have been pleasantly surprised to be witness to an unprecedented influx of new customers, first-time gardeners, and familiar faces that have come through our doors and shopped online all season long. I think it's evident when you drive around most neighborhoods in Central Ohio that people's yards have never looked better. People certainly have used their increased time at home to get their hands dirty and enjoy the rewarding sense of accomplishment that comes from having a beautiful landscape or garden. This trend carried through to this year's Garden Awards as well, where we had an increase in total entries by over 20%. And dozens of new gardeners enter the contest that had never submitted before. This is all great stuff, Ron. Oakland is proud to support the program in these unprecedented times and hope to be involved and watch it grow for years to come.
Well, we thank you again, Mark. And you know, serious gardeners know that Oakland is the place to find everything you need, including some of the most interesting and distinctive plant varieties around. I always say if you don't have it, they don't need it. So on behalf of everyone touched by this program, thank you and Oakland Nurseries for supporting the program and for offering such a generous list of prize winners this year prizes. Well, they're going to share a $3,000 prize pool of gift cards, of course, to Oakland Nurseries to get a jump on next year's gardening. Now, most of you probably know that all the judging for the Backyard Garden Awards is provided through the OSU Master Gardener Volunteer Program. With nearly 500 entries this year, the Master Gardeners is the organization best suited to review all the entries and make the right selections. And a special shout out to Mike Hogan, who heads up the Master Gardener program. You know, Mike's an extension educator and associate professor at The Ohio State University. Mike also is the architect of this program, and we thank you for your inspiration to get the Backyard Garden Awards program off the ground. Also, a very big thank you to all of you Master Gardener volunteers who participated in selecting this year's winners. Now, the Franklin County Extension Master Gardener team consisted of the leadership team, Carol McLone, Rita Brown, Susan Benedetti, Missy O'Malia, and Laurie Fomby, and they lead a team of 21 Master Gardener volunteers who all participated in meetings by Zoom to determine this year's winners. Representing the group with us today, Carol McLone. Carol, tell us a little bit about the program and how someone can actually become a Master Gardener volunteer if they're interested.
Well, thank you, Ron, for the introduction. I would like to say that on behalf of the Franklin County Master Gardener volunteers, we are so pleased to be able to participate in this event. It's really been wonderful. I want to give you a little bit of background about our group, and this is based on 2019 statistics. In 2019, we had 235 certified Franklin County Master Gardener volunteers who earned over 4,000 advanced horticultural educational hours during that year. In addition to the educational hours, we had over 16,000 service hours that were donated to different Franklin County gardening projects. And that's an important number because when you take those hours and use them in national metric, you can convert it into a value dollar of over $400,000 in services by Franklin County Master Gardener volunteers. In the state of Ohio, all Master Gardener volunteers had services that were valued at $4.2 million. One of the things that I wanted to highlight is that in 2019, in Franklin County, our program was involved with over $21,000 pounds of produce that was grown and then was donated to the needy here in Franklin County. And this is especially important metric because when you look at the whole state of Ohio, in Ohio, in 2019, approximately 51,000 pounds of produce was grown and donated. And when you look at Franklin County, we were able to grow and donate 21,000 pounds plus. So you can see what a contribution and a metric it is to relationships here in Franklin County, benefiting those in need. Well, if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, our next training class is in January of 2022 with our application process starting in the summer of 2021. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, you can contact Mike Hogan at hogan.1.osu.edu to get put on the list to get the application information. Well, let's go right on now into the award ceremony. I am so pleased at the prizes that Oakland Nursery is donating to the winners. I think the winners will be thrilled. I mean, which gardener wouldn't love to have $250 at the start of the spring growing system? So, but one of the other things that I think is really interesting and that I'm looking forward to is that some of the winners will be featured by the Columbus Dispatch in the Sunday edition, in an upcoming Sunday edition of the paper. So I want to turn this part of the presentation over to Steve Stephens, who is synonymous with the Columbus Dispatch Sunday edition of At Home. So Steve, welcome, and thank you so much for supporting Backyard Garden Awards.
Oh, you're welcome, Carol. It really is our pleasure at the Dispatch. And, you know, I haven't been there that long, just 35 years next month. So I don't know that I'm synonymous, but I guess I'm getting close. But speaking of gardeners, gardening is so popular and so important. And so I am happy to see gardeners being recognized for their efforts and their achievements. And we really are honored to be the place where we're going to be able to see some of those gardens in our at-home section in the Sunday Dispatch.
All right, Stephen, we appreciate that. So what do y'all say we get started? All right, here we go. This year is the biggest backyard garden awards yet, with 329 of you submitting 494 garden entries. And just like prior years, you can enter any of the 6 categories. Now this year, the most popular category is Best Home Landscaping, with 38% of the entries, followed by perennial gardens, container gardens, vegetable gardens, native plants, and community gardens. The program's open only to people who live in a garden in Central Ohio, and new this year, an individual garden can only win 1 award, notwithstanding the People's Choice. Now, for each category, we'll name the first, second, and third place. In addition, after the entries close on August the 10th, the public could vote on their favorites, and we'll name the first and second place People's Choice of winners as well for this year. Also this year, we'll recognize honorable mention gardens. Then we'll wrap up with the overall best garden in Central Ohio, regardless of category, by awarding the best of show. And keep in mind that the best of show can come from one of the 6 categories. So as you watch and listen to the winners, just because you didn't win first, second, or third in your category doesn't mean you're out of the running. You're still in the running for best of show. Now we'll start each category with a brief introduction by Carol McClone about what makes for an exceptional garden of that type. First up are the very best vegetable gardens in town. Carol, tell us a little bit more about things that make for an exceptional vegetable garden.
Well, Ron, this year was really interesting here in Central Ohio. It was a real uptick in the vegetable gardening growing season due to the pandemic. And in fact, if you would try to go buy quart canning jars for canning right now in Central Ohio, they are just not available. Well, a large variety of vegetables as well as herbs and edibles like berries can thrive in small plots of land as long as they have plenty of water and light. Raised beds, accessible pathways, and enclosures for protection from wildlife, and the inclusion especially of pollinator plants, are factors that contribute to growing healthy, well-cared-for vegetable plants. So the chosen entries by the judges display an array of well-tended vegetables that have been grown for personal use.
All right, Mark Reiner from Oakland Nurseries, we're going to let you announce our winners. Now, after Mark announces the winners, I'll read the description that you submitted with your garden. And remember, each winner will receive a certificate and gift cards from Oakland Nurseries that the dispatch will mail to you. Mark, it's in your hands.
Thanks, Ron. The third place winner for Best Vegetable Garden is the Lauk Family Garden by Susan and Brandon Lauk.
Now, here's the Lauk's description of this garden. It says, our garden structure was built for the ease and use of protection from wildlife. The structure was built out of pine and stained. It stands approximately 8 feet tall and has a styled gate to close off the garden. Now, each wall panel is on a hinge in order to obtain our bounty from both sides. We grow the following fruits and vegetables in the square footage method: strawberries, raspberries, tomatoes, squash, zucchini, pumpkin, watermelon, lettuce, bell pepper, along with various herbs such as parsley and oregano. We have an overabundance of crops and like to share with our neighbors. Our 3 children have the responsibility of doing the watering, and I'm sure they've done a lot of that this summer. Now, our garden has taught them a great deal about the process of gardening and how to grow their own food. And I love that particular garden, especially if you got critters that you're always dealing with. So congratulations, Susan and Brandon. You'll receive a $50 gift card to Oakland Nurseries. Mark, back to you.
The second place winner for Best Vegetable Garden is Love My Garden's Produce by Doreen Henshin.
Now, Doreen says in the forefront, tall raised beds include romaine and summer crisp lettuces and strawberries. And then in the background, other beds are planted in tomatoes and red potatoes with pole beans climbing the fence among the roses. She likes to use puppy fence to protect some parts of the garden and include marigolds and other flowers among the vegetables to add color and protection. Great job, Doreen. I love it. A $100 gift card to Oakland Nurseries is on its way. Mark?
The first place winner for Best Vegetable Garden goes to the garden named Keyhole Herb Surrounded by Vegetable Garden by Donna Pagano.
You know, I love this keyhole garden. It makes a whole lot of sense. A keyhole-shaped raised bed garden. This one's planted with 13 different herbs and strawberries surrounded by fig and pawpaw trees. Kind of a dinner and a show. Vegetables include tomatoes, peppers, watermelon, acorn squash, eggplant, rhubarb, and pumpkin, with marigolds planted for pest control and yellow, purple, and white flowers planted to help attract those pollinators. The best vegetable garden in Central Ohio. Congratulations, Donna. You'll also receive a $250 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Now, up next, top community gardens in Central Ohio. And Carol, it's a little bit up to you now to tell us about what makes a great community garden.
Well, I'm glad to do that, Ron. Well, a community garden can be defined as a piece of land that's cultivated by 2 or more people, or it can be many more garden volunteers who are intent on growing and providing fresh produce, either for personal use or for the population at large. There are many varieties of vegetables, fruit, and herbs, including dotting the area with annuals and perennials, embodies the essence of a community garden. And the selected submissions that got the most votes exhibit these qualities.
Now, to announce the winners for our community gardens is Steve Stevens. Steve, tell us who our third place winner is.
Okay, Ron, the third place winner for the best community garden goes to the Gambier Community Garden by R.C. Wise.
Now, the village of Gambier and College Township collaborated on a Knox County Foundation grant to expand the community gardens, which now include 15 plots of raised beds for township and village residents who want to grow their own food without worry about deer enjoying it first. Congratulations to the Gambier Community Garden team, submitted by R.C. Weiss. We're going to send you a $50 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Stephen, how about second place?
Okay, the second place winner for best community garden is the Schneider Park Community Garden, submitted by Jeffrey Harriman.
Ooh, I like this. The Schneider Community Garden is a 3.5-acre garden built on a landfill in Schneider Park in South Bexley along Livingston Avenue. Now, in 2020, a grant from the Bexley Community Foundation led to 104-foot by 14-inch raised beds and pathways being built there. Now, gardeners reflect diversity in age, race, religion, culture, and gardening skills. Produce is donated to the Broad Street Presbyterian Food Pantry. Terrific job to all the participants. A $100 nursery gift card is on its way. Steve, let's take a look at the first place winner.
Okay, here we go. The first place winner for best community garden goes to the Accessible Community Garden by Teresa Waits.
Ooh, I like that one too. I like them all. I love vegetable gardens. You know, this garden is on the campus of the Columbus Center for Human Services and is staffed by a volunteer group who call themselves the Dirt Devils, and by adults who are developmentally disabled. Now, located in a food desert, low-cost produce is sold at a farmer's market. Vegetables, fruit, and herbs are grown along with century beds filled with annuals and perennials. So congratulations to all of the Dirt Devils on a really special garden. Guess what? Your $250 Oakland Nursery gift card is on its way. Now let's find out who the winners are for the best native plant gardens in town. Carol, it's up to you.
Well, native plants is really interesting. Ohio has over 1,800 native plants, including trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and grasses. They're an intricate part of our ecosystem, and they are essential because they're a critical food for support, especially they're a critical food source for pollinators, including Ohio's native bees, butterflies, insects, caterpillars, birds, and wildlife. They're so important that in 2019, Governor Mike DeWine signed into House Bill 59, which dedicates the month of April to native plants. That's how important native plants are to our overall ecosystem. These
Couldn't agree with you more.
The skillful blending of colorful and different textured native plants that bloom over a span of seasons in both the urban and the suburban garden setting.
Super. Now, at this stage, let's bring back Mark Reiner from Oakland Nurseries to announce our winners. Mark?
Thanks, Ron. The third place winner for Best Native Plant Garden goes to the Native Pollinator Garden by Sally Beaver.
Now, this is one of 15 gardens in this yard. This new pollinator garden with a bird bath and a bee and butterfly puddler includes blooming coneflowers, black-eyed Susan, and sedum. One of the most fascinating things about it is that you could take a picture each month from March till November, and it would look different, but equally beautiful. Now, the pollinators will have something to feed off of all year long. No pesticides or chemicals are used here, so it creates a wildlife sanctuary in downtown Grove City, Ohio. Sally, you'll receive a $50 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Nice job. Mark?
Okay, the second place winner for Best Native Plant Garden is called Abundance of Colors by Brenda Rushin.
Now, here's a variety of butterflies and bees found all the time in this garden because it features coneflowers and a butterfly bush. And if you look around, it's getting lots of good color. Of course, a little bit of water. They always have to have that water, but absolutely gorgeous. And again, great color throughout the entire season for those pollinators. Congratulations, Brenda, on a beautiful native plant garden. And you'll receive a $100 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Mark, how about the first place winner?
The first place winner for Best Native Plant Garden goes to Early Evening, Late July by Mary Vance.
Now, the homeowners installed a rock runnel leading into a rain garden in their backyard. Now, native shrubs, native perennials, and grasses were selected to provide multi-season interest and to attract those pollinators, butterflies, and even the birds. Now, this photo highlights Lucy Brown, prairie dock, Joe Pye weed, monarda, and ironweed, and they're all beginning to reach their peak. A $250 Oakland Nurseries gift card is on its way for the best native plant garden in town. Congratulations, Mary. Now, you know, one of the fun things about this program is that the online program we use for you to upload your photos for the Backyard Garden Awards allows other people to vote on their favorites. Now, after entries closed on August the 10th, we opened up the voting so you and the community could vote on your favorites. Now, this year, about 2,000 votes were cast, so I'd like to announce the People's Choice winners right now. The runner-up People's Choice Garden is called She Castle Farm, submitted by Christy McClure. Here's how Christy describes this vegetable garden. She says, our urban oasis includes a cozy greenhouse for seedlings in the winter and succulents over the summer months. Our garden includes 6 4x10 raised beds and a 20 by 30 foot in-ground bed. We've enjoyed eating out of our garden since the first harvest in June and are currently preserving to enjoy a reminder of the summer produce through the winter months. Christy will receive a $40 Oakland Nurseries gift card. And the first place People's Choice Award is the St. Andrew's Christian Church Garden, a community garden submitted by Kay Hoagland. Now, Kay describes it like this. She says our community garden located in Dublin's Old Sawmill neighborhood measures about 18,000 square feet. 1,800 square feet, 18,000 would be huge. 1,800 square feet, and it's maintained by the church membership, and the fruits of their labor are shared within the church community. A weekly harvest is delivered to help My Neighborhood Food Pantry on Smoky Row Road, reaching over 1,000 pounds of tomatoes, squash, onions, potatoes, peppers, cucumbers, carrots, eggplant, turnips, and asparagus. We feel blessed to help others add fresh, healthy produce to their tables. Okay, you'll receive a $60 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Now, back to the gardens judged by the Master Gardener volunteers. The next category, this is my favorite, container gardening. And I love container gardening, you know me. Carol, tell us a little bit more about container gardening.
Well, Ron, I'm right there with you. I love container gardens too, simply because they're fun to put together and they're movable. Well, most flowers, vegetables, shrubs, and even trees can be grown in a planter. And a container garden can either be one planter or can with one specific plant, or it could be multiple planters with multiple combinations of plants in them. And container gardening is so popular because the gardener can work from a variety of sites depending upon where they live. You can do container gardening on a balcony of an apartment, or you can do it in a large backyard. And it can, as I said before, it can be limited to one planter or to more than one, depending upon the site that you have to work with. Now, these particular entries were striking in their use of color combinations, including the color of the planter, and the sense of beauty and well-being that they brought to the setting in which they flourished for the particular gardener. So this is the judges really enjoyed this category.
You know, and the other thing I like about container gardening, I always like to remind folks, container gardening is all 4 seasons. It's not just during the summer. You can do it year round in your containers, and it's a lot of fun to do as well. Now, Steven Stevens, how about you announce our winners?
Okay, Ron, here we go. Third place winner for the best container garden is Pat's Escape by Pat Schuster.
Now, Pat says this is a customized flower container filled with colorful and scented annuals, perennials, vines, and houseplants that create a beautiful, relaxing place for her to enjoy the appearance and fragrance, especially during the pandemic. Congratulations, Pat. You're going to get a $50 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Next up, Stephen.
The second place winner for Best Container Garden is very appropriately called Paradise in a Pot by Pam Saygraves.
I love it. It's located in Westerville, Ohio. This container filled with tropical foliage and flowers takes the homeowner to the tropics with an island vibe. Great job, Pam. Your $100 Oakland Nurseries gift card is on its way. Steve, how about our first place winner?
Okay, our first place winner for Best Container Garden is called Fireworks with an exclamation point, and you'll see why, by Dean Hildreth.
Now, using the old container principles, the planting principles of thrillers, fillers, and spillers, this container planted with a 6-foot tut grass resembling fireworks and a mix of caladiums, ferns, coleus impatiens, creeping jenny, and angelonia creates a really bright and cheery welcome into that sunroom. I love the thrillers, fillers, and spillers approach to your containers, Dean. Congratulations, and we know you'll put your $250 Oakland Nurseries gift card to great use. Well, you know what? All these winners are really showing us some great, incredible backyard gardening. And we're kind of seeing that perfect blend of, you know, the artistic expressions and the gardening know-hows and the knowledge of plants and plant care. And it's exciting. And I know you're excited about it too, Mark, because it's so much fun to see folks doing this. So let's bring Mark back in, because I know Oakland has special activities running through this fall and into the holidays. Give us a little preview as far as what's coming up for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Ron. I'm blown away by some of those container gardens. Wow. You know, obviously this year is a little bit different. We are celebrating our 40th annual Fall Festival. Although, Ron, we will miss your smiling face in Dublin at the National Pumpkin Way-Off, which has been postponed until next year, we are still having our Fall Festival this year. Instead of one large, kind of blowout weekend, we're having 2 separate weekends. The first 2 weekends in October 3rd and 4th, and 10th and 11th. So come enjoy the beautiful fall weather with, truckloads of pumpkins and gourds, special sales, live music, food, games, door prizes. And it's all going to be done in a safe, socially distanced, kind of open air environment. So details vary for each location. You can get more information at www.oaklandnursery.com.
And of course, after the fall season's over, and I will miss emceeing that Pumpkin Way Off. It's always a great time. You guys do such a great job with the holiday season as well. So keep that in mind. Always lots of fun going on at Oakland Nurseries. All right, here we go. Our next category, perennial gardens. Carol, tell us a little bit about the perennial gardens.
Well, what is there not to love about a plant that will come back after 1 year? Perennials are plants that live for more than a year, and their roots are able to live through the winter. They flower through spring, summer, and early fall, depending upon the particular perennial. But they have a shorter bloom time than the annuals do, like petunias. So you want to take that into consideration when you plant perennials. You're not going to get a continuous bloom through the 3 seasons with just one perennial. Now, perennial gardeners really strive because of that to successfully combine color combinations, and they're looking for a succession of continual blooms throughout the growing season in their yard. And these particular winning entries showcase a careful selection of perennials that blend texture, form, height, color into an eye-pleasing combination of plants in these homeowners' home yards.
All right, Mark Reiner, we're going to bring you back. Tell us who our winners are.
Thanks, Ron. The third place winner for Best Perennial Garden is called Addictive Gardener by Linda Lane.
Now, this image shows a partial view of the garden with a vast array of plants and what Linda calls succession gardening to provide flowers from early spring until the first freeze. Some of the plants you'll see in this photo: Annabelle hydrangea, bouncing bet, millennium allium, stargazer lily, autumn joy sedum, heliopsis, phlox, Japanese anemone, daisies, and dahlias. Great job, Linda. And I'll tell you what, we're going to send you a $50 Oakland Nursery gift card. I know you'll enjoy that next year in your perennial garden. Mark, second place.
The second place winner for Best Perennial Garden is Summertime Splendor by Mary Trammell.
Now, this photo captures two of Mary's perennial gardens. The serene pond view can be seen in the background. A gated entrance to the rear garden adds architectural interest to the landscape. The gardens are planted with over 90 varieties of perennials for 3 seasons of colorful bloom. Well done, Mary. We're going to send you a $100 Oakland Nursery gift card. Mark, give us our first place winner.
The first place winner for Best Perennial Garden is Return to Summer Abundance by Catherine Chiavaro.
Well, the picture says it all. The perennials in this garden include black-eyed Susans, allium, bachelor's buttons, iris, daisies, Nana fern with a butterfly bush in that background. Catherine, you've really selected some unusual plant varieties. What a beautiful garden you've got there. We're going to send you a $250 Oakland Nurseries gift card. Congratulations. Now, we're kind of rounding the corner to our final categories. Coming up next is Best Landscape Garden. And we say this one because this category kind of ties everything together. And after Best Landscape, we'll give a shout out to our over 100 honorable mention gardens, followed by the Best of Show, the one garden that judges selected as Best in Central Ohio for 2020. Carol, tell us what makes for an outstanding landscape.
We had so many submissions on this, and it was very difficult for judging. But the landscape category includes an overall spectrum of both hardscape and softscape elements that are designed to create a harmonious design and inviting spaces for relaxation in the yard. It showcases features such as flower beds, planting groupings, trees, borders, shrubs. It could have statuary involved, interesting walkways, ponds, and waterfalls. And they're all designed to provide a visually appealing, multi-level interest garden that also provides usefulness to the homeowner's landscape. Now, these winning entries captured the overall essence of that the judges were looking for in terms of balance and design.
Outstanding. So let's welcome back Steve Stevens from the Dispatch to announce our winners for Best Landscape. Now, Steve, the Sunday at-home section is always packed with great information week in and week out that every gardener would love, and you don't have to be a gardener to love it as well. Just great read. How do you approach the features and other information that you choose in At Home?
Well, thanks, Ron. That's really kind of you. Thanks for saying that. I rely on our great local experts to put these stories together. We've got great information in this community. Experts like our master gardeners who have helped me out many, many times. The OSU Extension Service. So we've got some great local experts here. We've also, I got to give a shout out to our great garden columnist at the Dispatch, Diana Lockwood, who just happens to be my wife.
Very convenient. But I tell you what, I appreciate that. And I'll tell you what, you do an excellent job. It is a must read for every garden enthusiast out there. And again, I say you don't have to be a gardener to enjoy it because it's always great information. All right, what do you say we get started here? Tell us our third place winner.
Okay, Ron, here we go. The third place winner for Best Landscape Garden is Glorious Garden Gazebo by Adriana Flenner.
Now, this garden features a gazebo and waterfalls, and it uses a variety of plants, including grasses, lilies, echinacea, lamb's ear, wild geranium, spiderwort, and Rose of Sharon to kind of bring a solace and of course, a joy to this homeowner. It seems like it's the perfect place to sit down and just kind of unwind. So congratulations on your glorious garden, Adriana. A $50 Oakland gift card is on its way to you. Steve, our second place?
Okay, our second place winner for Best Landscape Garden is Our Secret Garden by Catherine Russell.
Now, this couple has worked 15 years turning a backyard drainage ditch from an eyesore into the garden that you're seeing right now. Now, this pond was hand dug by a shovel, believe it or not. Stones were collected, hauled home for laying in place, and the bridge was built by the homeowners who had no prior experience. And I just want you to know that they note that they still remain friends today and can sit back and enjoy their hard work. Catherine, thanks for entering the Backyard Gardens Award this year. Your second place garden is not so secret anymore. Your $100 Oakland Nurseries gift card is on its way. Now, Stephen, the first place winner.
Okay, here we go. The first place winner for Best Landscape Garden goes to Played in the Shade by Melissa Kraft.
Take a look at that. Now, this garden uses plants in their natural habitat, contrasting foliage, and patches of colorful annuals and garden accents to strike a balance in that woodland setting. Congratulations on your first place garden, Melissa. We're sending you a $250 Oakland Nurseries gift certificate. Now, I'd like to add my personal congratulations to each of you that has submitted entries in this year's Backyard Garden Awards. And as all of the photographs show, we have some amazing gardeners right here in Central Ohio who really know their stuff. Remember, each of our winners will receive a certificate plus their Oakland Nursery gift card. And we're about to introduce you to a brand new part of this Backyard Garden Awards, the Honorable Mention category. Submissions this year were so spectacular, we wanted to acknowledge more of them than the 21 gardens that we just presented to you. So the judges have picked Honorable Mention gardens that are notable for their beauty and thoughtful approach to gardening. We'll show you these throughout this brief slideshow, and each gardener will receive a certificate by mail. And stay tuned for the announcement of the best show right after the video. Congratulations to each of our honorable mention recipients. And now, before we announce the best of show garden, remember to visit and chat with the exhibitors and craftsmen at the show when we conclude. You can talk with all of them in their virtual booths right from the device you are on right now by typing or voice or video conversations. It's pretty cool, so take a minute and make sure you explore. And remember, the show's giving away 1,000 gift certificates, each worth $10 to the North Market. Each exhibitor has about a dozen to give out, so chat with them to find out more. Also, last year, many of you asked for a copy of the presentation and pictures of the winning gardens. Well, these are going to be posted on the Dispatch Home and Garden Show website starting next week. So please come back and take a look. The website's easy to remember, dispatchhomeandgardenshow.com. Now, for the best in show. To help me announce the winner, Carol McGlone from the Master Gardener Volunteer Program.
Thanks, Ron. Well, we had a real first this year when the 21 judges cast their ballots for best in show. It was unanimous who the best of show was. It was the first time it's ever happened since the inception of Backyard Garden Awards. And I think when you see this entry, you'll see how special it is, and especially the story behind it. So I'm very proud to announce that the 2020 Backyard Garden Awards for Best of Show goes to the community garden entry that is named the Village Garden Clintonville. And here are some comments about this garden. Some of the judges' comments on this garden relate to the wonderful combination of what they call both tangibles and intangibles. The tangibles of this garden is that it's 3,000 square feet and it produces 80 varieties of organically grown produce that is shared among the participants. It's the intangibles, though, that are so special. This shows community spirit. I'm going to cry. This shows community
It's a beautiful
spirit
garden.
among these participants. They are happy. They're growing their vegetables. They are practicing safe distancing through this pandemic. And the judges really felt that this shows the best example of community spirit. So that's best to show.
And I tell you what, I share in your enthusiasm here. It gives me goosebumps as well. What a wonderful job. And let me add my congratulations to the Village Garden Clintonville, submitted by Neeraj Tile. Now, in addition to the high honor and distinction of being named the best garden in Central Ohio for 2020, your $500 Oakland Nurseries gift card, it's on its way to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the winter ceremony for the 2020 Backyard Garden Awards presented by Oakland Nurseries, the Columbus Dispatch, and the Ohio State University Master Gardeners Volunteer Program. I really hope you enjoyed participating and seeing so many beautiful backyard gardens in Central Ohio. Please take a look for the Spring Dispatch Home and Garden Show at the fairgrounds at the end of February. This is going to be the 65th annual show. And make sure you enter the 2021 Backyard Garden Awards next year. It's fall, get out, great time to plant a tree, plant those native plants and pollinator plants, and by all means, make it the best fall of your life. See ya.